The next question is, what kinds of tools or software do I need to be able to write code with Java?
Okay, so the tools that you need, that's a good question. So there are basically two things that you need to be able to develop and write Java programs. And the first one is the JDK, and the second one is the IDE. So the JDK is the Java Development Kit, and what that is basically, that is pretty much the Java platform. So it's a collection of commands that you can run and you can execute, which enable you to, for want of a better phrase, do Java. So for example, the two main tools in there are going to be the Java compiler, which is the thing that basically takes the Java code that you write and converts that code into a thing called bytecode. And that bytecode is the machine code, if you like, which is then run on a Java virtual machine, a thing called a JVM. And these two tools are the main tools that you have in the JDK. So that's the Java compiler, or Java C, and the Java virtual machine, known as the JVM. So without those two things, you really can't do Java. But with those two things, that pretty much is the Java platform. Alongside as well, having all of the libraries that are collections of code that you can call from within your own programs as well. That's the JDK itself. On the other hand, you have a thing called the IDE, because the JDK is it's not designed really for humans to use. It's not that user friendly. It's just something that you type commands into the command line into this big black box, and then you get a response back, or the program runs and everything. So it's not that user friendly. So what you find instead is you find that you have something called an IDE. And an IDE is an integrated development environment, and that's basically, for want of a better phrase, it's kind of like, think of it as being like a word processor for Java programs. So just like if you want to write a document in Microsoft Word, you use Microsoft Word, you type up your document, and it helps you out by allowing you to do different formatting options and suggesting auto corrections and underlining things if you do things wrong. Similarly, if you're developing Java programs, we have the IDE, which is the same kind of thing. We can type in our Java programs into the IDE. We get help. The IDE will basically, it'll underline things in red if you do things wrong. It'll suggest how you can correct the code if you've written code incorrectly, which is great for beginners, by the way, because it means you're not actually out there on your own. The IDE is helping you along the way each time, which is good. And it's basically a nice, friendly place application to be able to pretty much write, debug, and run your programs. So yeah, an IDE, two things there, the JDK and the IDE. Those are the two things that you need. And both of those, by the way, are completely free. You can download the JDK from the Oracle website, and you can download an IDE from, there's actually two main IDEs, there's Eclipse and there's IntelliJ IDEA, from the Eclipse Foundation and JetBrains, respectively. And yeah, those are the two things you need, but everything's free to use, and you can download it today and get started writing Java code straight away today.